You read the title or looked at the thumbnail, so you already know what's happening. I really like Mortal Kombat 9. It was the first real fighting game I played, and the size of its roster blew me away when it first came out. Since MK is pretty popular right now, I wanted to make a video about it. If you like Mortal Kombat or this tier list, make sure to like and subscribe so I can make more videos like this. With that, on to the video.
With Earthrealm finally in Shao Kahn's control, Baraka's loyalty and bold action were rewarded. The Tarkatans replaced the Centaur as the Emperor's favored race.
Baraka kills Shang Tsung, who's impersonating Shao Kahn, and then gets a big promotion, along with the rest of his race for being so loyal to Shao Kahn, and Earthrealm was taken over by Outworld. This writing style is really loose because in pretty much every other ending, when Shao Kahn is killed, he's killed. It's not somebody impersonating him, it's just Shao Kahn. So it doesn't really align with everybody else's, and it's kind of a weird twist, making it not very interesting. Baraka stays a villain and a henchman for Shao Kahn, now only being a semi-jobber. And it wasn't very interesting, so D tier. Cyber Sub-Zero gets taken over by the soul of Shao Kahn and turns into a cybernetic version of Shao Kahn. There's no dialogue in this ending, only really having visuals and music, although the idea of Shao Kahn using his understanding of soul magic is a good use of his talents. Having your character die or lose in an ending to an arcade ladder is dumb because you just won. And this ending really showcases that the idea of Cyber Sub-Zero was an afterthought during development that was somewhat forgotten about until Triborg and MKX. And then never brought up again. F tier.
Cyrax was offered sanctuary at the Wu Shi Academy, where he has begun a new life as an honorable warrior for peace.
Cyrax helps out Earthrealm during the Mortal Kombat tournaments, and for this, Sector comes to kill him, because Cyrax betrayed the Lin Kuei. Raiden comes in to help with Shaolin warriors and defeats Sector's forces. Cyrax then becomes a Shaolin, fighting for peace in Earthrealm. It's fun and simple, has no real payoff, since the last time Cyrax was a playable character is when Triborg came out. This is middle, this is mid, C tier.
Trapped among the many spirits within Ermac was their husband and father, King Jared.
Ermac frees themselves from Shao Kahn's grasp by killing him, and their mind goes crazy, with all the souls inside fighting to become the one in control. The one that actually gains control is King Jarek, a Mortal Kombat lore character that is the father of Kitana and the husband of Sindel. This ending is pretty freaking great and is now being expanded upon in MK1's story mode, where Ermac is fightable but not a playable character on release. Nice job on that one, NetherRealm Studios, but it's a fun twist that added depth to Ermac ever since the game came out, so I'll give it an S tier.
He welcomed a return to immortality. From the dream realm, he will again create a nightmare in Earthrealm.
Freddy Krueger gets sent back into the dream realm by Nightwolf, but they are now more powerful than ever. This writing is completely serviceable, being the first time Mortal Kombat dealt with a horror-themed guest fighter. It's even got a jump scare in it so you can scream and overreact when it happens for YouTubers. And it's got a shot that's very reminiscent of the first Nightmare on Elm Street. The worst part of it is seeing remake Freddy's face. For being loyal to the character and giving it a serviceable ending, for a guest, I give it a B tier. It's not the best thing ever, but it's got some great qualities.
Be reimagined. Jade was defenseless as the woman possessed her body and emerged in the waking world.
Jade passes out after killing Shao Kahn and talks to a woman in her dreams. This woman apparently knows all of Mortal Kombat's lore and possesses Jade's body for no exact reason. This ending is a nothing ending where nothing happens, and your character gets possessed for no reason. This ending sucked, and feels like something made in a weekend because of a time crunch. F tier but above Cyber Sub, because at least this one has narration.
Their minds linked, Jax virtually battled Kano. Finally, he captured and quarantined Kano's consciousness within the Special Forces mainframe.
After Jax kills Shao Kahn, he's left alone with all of his friends mysteriously disappearing. He tries to clean up the mess of Shao Kahn's forces, but then somehow hacks into Kano's eye, with Jax locking away Kano's consciousness after a fight in the cyber world. I don't even understand what this ending was and what it was here to accomplish. There are 3 different issues brought up, with only one really being dealt with. At least something actually happens in this ending, unlike Jade's. D tier, below Baraka.
Powerful energy burst forth, destroying everything around him.
After Johnny Cage kills Shao Kahn, his green stuff goes crazy to the point where he basically becomes localized nukes. This is also on the rooftop stage instead of on Shao Kahn's arena, which is kinda weird. Anyway, Fujin and Raiden decide it would probably be a good idea to keep him away from people. So Raiden takes him to Order Realm while also letting him train that green stuff to make him a better fighter. Hopefully at least. Although it does have a fun little allusion to the other realms, this ending is just kind of okay, with no real payoff and no real ending. We won't even know if Johnny Cage will improve as a fighter. This ending is pretty gosh darn mid. But that being said, this ending is Johnny Cage's, and this list is mine. So I think it's probably gonna have to go in S tier. I love Johnny Cage, let's go.
He is better than he was before. Stronger, faster. He will need to be in order to repay his debt.
Cabal gets his master and respirator broken, but sadly he doesn't have his asthma inhaler, so he goes over and threatens Kano to give him the name of someone that can fix him. The cyberneticist then makes him better than ever. Now though, Cabal is indebted to the cyberneticist and looks super cool. I kinda like that this is a bad ending for him, with him becoming more disfigured in the process and becoming more mechanical, making him go down the dark path that he's already on. This ending isn't really that good though. If I was nice, I would give it a low C tier, but Cabal has been top tier in basically every game he's been in. So let's go ahead and put him down at the very bottom, just so he knows what it feels like. An eternal bottom of F tier for you.
Kano has become a one-man army.
Kano's ending just starts off right in the middle of Jax's, with them having an intertwined story, but this time Jax tries to defeat Kano in the cyber world, but unknown to Jax, Kano's mind then hacks into all the Special Forces equipment, where Kano kinda turns into a version of Skynet. This one's pretty darn fun for how outrageous it is, but Kano is some evil crime boss that does what he does out of his own interest. Him turning into a controller of all military United States hardware is kinda dumb, but still very fun to watch. This is like a D tier if you care about the game being serious, but I think it's a perfect C tier for its campy nature, right below Cyrax though.
Fulfilled, Kenshi left Shang Tsung to die, alone and powerless.
Kenshi teams up with the Special Forces and Jax to join the Outworld Investigations Agency. Kenshi takes revenge by killing Shang Tsung, although this ending is super basic, it works for Kenshi in his simple story. They also reuse this same exact ending for Kenshi in MK1, and I think that's hilarious. Like, come on guys, it's a new timeline, how about we do something new? This ending has some great visuals though, with Kenshi plunging his sword into Shang Tsung's chest. A tier.
With Melina and Jade at her side, Kitana formed a fighting force dedicated to bringing justice to the realm.
Kitana, after killing Shao Kahn, tries to help Melina by welcoming her into the family, and they even get to fight together as a fighting force to take down any would-be tyrants in Outworld. This ending is pretty darn wholesome, because finally the sisters get to be friends instead of enemies that want to kill each other. I just think it all wraps up a little too fast. Like, how do Melina and Jade feel about this? Is there any interesting stuff there? They'd never tell us. Top of B tier.
Raiden explained that though his motives were not pure, Kratos had saved Earthrealm. He was owed a debt of gratitude.
Kratos kills Shao Kahn and gets told by Raiden and Fujin that Kratos is a pretty chill dude that saved the world with his rage and anger. Kratos nods silently and then goes back to the God of War universe and hopes that he can call upon his allies someday. Seeing Kratos not be treated like trash by gods is nice for once, and I'm glad he gets some respect where respect is due. I don't think this ending is the best though. I feel like more could have been done with it. Maybe a more outward reason why he was summoned to the Mortal Kombat universe could have been there. But I love you though, Kratos. Ares! Give me a B tier, and my life is yours. But put him below Freddy.
The Kung Lao that stood before Raiden was in fact the reincarnation of the great Kung Lao.
Kung Lao defeats Shao Kahn and gets a chill with Raiden at his ancestor's grave. There, he realizes he was a reincarnation of the great Kung Lao. This makes it so him and his ancestors get the exact same redemption arc, saving Earthrealm. No way. I never would have guessed that two characters named the same thing were probably reincarnations of each other. Seriously, flew over my head. This one is basic but serviceable and concludes this story nicely. Top of C tier.
Liu Kang's request was granted. He was made a god, the new protector of Earthrealm.
Liu Kang goes to fight Raiden and take his place because Raiden ruined everything with his time-traveling shenanigans. Liu Kang wins, becoming the new protector god of Earthrealm, seemingly becoming the god of fire. It's kind of hilarious that this was used in another way in MK11 and MK1, and I think Fire God Liu Kang was a pretty great idea. I mean, they obviously did a lot with it, but he does kind of look like a Dark Raiden ripoff here. Top of B tier for being an interesting premise that didn't go anywhere in this game, but did later on.
But Melina instinctively wielded her new dark power against the sorcerer. Shang Tsung's end came quickly. Melina absorbed his soul, multiplying her strength.
Melina is used as a puppet by Shang Tsung to kill Shao Kahn. She breaks out of her puppet-like state, with her becoming a soul sorceress herself, becoming a larger threat than both the big bads combined, with her also killing Shang Tsung, with her sights on Raiden next. Melina really gets to be a girl boss in this one. You go, girl. I'm scared of what the Melina fanbase will do if I give her a bad ranking, and also I kinda like the ending itself, so A tier above Kenshi. It's a true, simple ending for Melina that really makes her Shao Kahn's daughter.
Now corrupted with Shao Kahn's evil, Nightwolf has transformed into his animality.
Nightwolf has his spirit snatched and possessed by Shao Kahn. The wolf comes back to Nightwolf, with the wolf taking control of him. Nightwolf seemingly turns into a European-style werewolf, with him being able to turn others into werewolves when they are bitten, with Shao Kahn hoping to conquer Earthrealm this way. And that's it. That's all. This one is boring and makes it so your character is taken control of. They don't even do anything interesting with the monster that Nightwolf turns into. Maybe you could turn Nightwolf into a skinwalker so he can be wolf-like and still a little spooky. There's so much potential with Shao Kahn corrupting Nightwolf in his spirit form. I do kind of vibe with Nightwolf transform though. He kind of looks like me some nights when I'm deep in thought and contemplation. Bottom of F tier, but above Cabal. Duh.
Noob Saibot remained to seize control of the Netherrealm.
Noob Saibot defeats Shao Kahn and gets some help from Quan Chi because of it, but Noob Saibot gained a little thing called free will. When this happened, he allied himself with Havoc. Then they destroy all threats in Netherrealm, where Noob Saibot becomes the new ruler of the Hells. I think this ending was solely made on the premise that Noob Saibot kinda looks like the personification of death, especially when he has his hood up. I don't really feel like Noob's actions here really reflect on the desires of Bihan, the first Sub-Zero. Maybe if it had something to do with Scorpion, who is the denizen of the Netherrealm, or if it had something to do with the Lin Kuei, it would make more sense. He did look baller on that throne though. Top of C tier for being connected to the other parts of the lore that I think are cool, because I like Havoc, he's cool.
With Shao Kahn as his enforcer, Quan Chi struck down the Brotherhood of Shadow and Shinnok.
Quan Chi uses his necromancy to use the dead of Outworld for an invasion of Earthrealm, and to serve Shinnok. Shinnok takes a page out of old Quan Chi's book and betrays him. Quan Chi double crosses Shinnok by using a phantom of Shao Kahn to be his bodyguard. Quan Chi and resurrected Shao Kahn kill Shinnok, and he dismantles the Brotherhood of Shadow. That's it. Seeing a reanimated zombie Shao Kahn kinda brings us up some points, and the ending really embodies who Quan Chi is as a necromancer and sorcerer that's always known for backstabbing. I actually really like this one, even though I'm not really that fond of Quan Chi himself. Top of A tier.
Through these new heroes, Raiden can combat the forces of darkness in 4 places at once.
Raiden calls in his homies and turns them into mini Raidens so he can protect Earthrealm. But seriously, no Kid Raiden reference? Kind of a bummer. Part of me feels like this whole thing was just made to be an allusion to things like Power Rangers. Also, it's kind of weird that he makes people into mini Raidens are part of his power set. He does give powers and his divinity to Liu Kang in Mortal Kombat 11 though, so nice setup I guess? Besides that, this is an ending I don't have much to say about. Bottom of C tier. I'd just be confused if I saw this one.
His divinity confirmed, Rain's path was clear. He would use Shao Kahn's army to rule not just Outworld, but all the realms.
Raiden tells Rain that he's pretty cool for killing Shao Kahn, and fills him in on some info about Rain being a descendant of a god. Like any royalty that claims to be appointed by or descendants of a god, he decides to try to take over everything he can because he deserves it. With him waging war on all the realms and invading them. This really works as Rain being a holier-than-thou bastard in his characterization, being a posh supremacist that thinks he's the best. His design looks great as well as the visuals, A tier above Kenshi.
The intoxicating feeling of reuniting with his people blinded Reptile to the suffering of his former comrades. Reptile was home once more.
Reptile kills the Khan and immediately makes Shang Tsung work towards resurrecting his race. Reptile then takes over all of Outworld with his lizard people while he commits genocide towards his former friends. I thought Reptile was more of a person and a victim of circumstance compared to what a villain they made him in MK9. But that being said, it isn't the baddest ending. He gets his race back, which is super cool, and his end goal is achieved. What a simple plot, setup, and knockdown. C tier below Cyrax, because both of them act like conclusions for the characters, and I'm not particularly impressed with both of them.
As the spirits of his kin immobilized Quan Chi, Scorpion slew him, finally avenging their deaths.
Scorpion finds out the true architect of his pain is none other than Quan Chi. He kills Quan Chi in a never-ending cycle of violence and revenge. This really does showcase Scorpion's whole character being fueled by revenge and vengeance. The ending didn't give any new information though, at least it is somewhat followed up in Mortal Kombat X, where Scorpion does the exact same thing to Quan Chi, kind of. I think Ed Boon would have fired everybody at NetherRealm Studios if they didn't give Scorpion a good enough ending. And good enough it is. Top of A tier.
Sector had finally seized control of the Lin Kuei.
Sector straight up kills his father, with him becoming the new Grandmaster of the Lin Kuei clan. Also, his father's soul goes into an amulet, the Grandmaster's amulet, of course. I understand that this outcome makes sense for Sector. He's a real bastard that saborizes people and wants the Lin Kuei to be the biggest and best ever, but I wish he would have turned everybody into cyborgs before he did it, making it a bit more interesting. Sector is my favorite cyborg, mainly because he's red, so he goes above Cyrax, but he still goes to the bottom of B tier.
After rigorous training, Shang Tsung mastered the one technique that could finish Liu Kang.
Shang Tsung defeats Shao Kahn and is tormented by it. He goes to game end himself, and when Bo Rai Cho jump scares him, he says Liu Kang became a god and turned into a Dark Raiden stand-in, being pretty darn evil. Shang Tsung then trains himself to defeat Liu Kang, and I like this because it flips the script and changes the roles around. Cool ending. They even brought Bo Rai Cho back. And he doesn't even fart and vomit everywhere. Top of A tier.
For her leadership, Shiva was exalted, the most honorable Shokan in their proud history.
Shiva kills Shao Kahn and then realizes that Outworld is a horrible place for her people and that she doesn't want to live and fight there anymore. So she decides to talk with the people of Earthrealm, where she decides to settle the Shokan on the continent of Australia, where they can all live in peace. Shiva makes the future of her race better and takes over an entire continent, which I think is pretty crazy unless they're just somewhere out in the outback or an uninhabited shore or something. Top of B tier.
Not only had Sindel defeated Shao Kahn, but she had shown great leadership in chaotic times. They willingly offered her their allegiance. Under Sindel's governance, the realms of Edenia and Outworld remain merged in spirit.
Sindel breaks out of her mind control and makes Edenia its own realm again, while she also becomes the acting ruler of Outworld. Sindel was a ruler and a queen before she died, so it kinda makes sense that she would gain that all back. But something makes me feel like this ending in Shiva's could have been better if there was some sort of tragic cost to everything. But that's mainly because sadness is spicy and gives stakes and repercussions toward the story. Sindel gets a B below Sector. Because Shiva at least got a cool part where the Shokan moved to Earthrealm, and Sector had to kill his own father to get to where he was in that ending.
Brotherhood of Shadow Warriors raced to defend the sorcerer, but their blood only served to make Scarlet invincible. In a battle between sorcery and gore-fueled fighting power, she avenged her fallen master.
Scarlet gets mind-controlled by Quan Chi to kill Shao Kahn, but Shao Kahn's blood makes Scarlet even stronger, and she then runs down Quan Chi in the Brotherhood of Shadows. Man, there's a lot of Quan Chi killing in this game, and it's great. He deserves it. Scarlet was the only new original character made for this game, and characterizing her as a fiercely loyal Shao Kahn lackey that is a bloody, unstoppable force makes her emblematic of MK as a whole. Bottom of S tier.
His murder avenged, he returned to his human form, remembering nothing of his former life. Now aware of his true identity, Smoke understands he is no mere assassin. His destiny has been revealed.
Smoke gets his amnesia cured and find out that he's actually a ritual sacrifice to a smoke demon that turned him into a smoke demon somehow, which slaughtered his captors and then turned him back into human form, but gave him 6 smoke powers. I really like how Smoke gets his powers from being a demon instead of Scorpion's Hellfire or Sub-Zero's Cryomancy. The vague ending about his fate brings it down a tier though. Plus, hot take, they should have kept Smoke's hair long and wavy in MK1. I don't know, let's put this at the top of B tier? Yeah, it looks good there.
With her father as a guide, Sonya embarked on a mission to exterminate what remained of Shao Kahn's army.
Sonya Blade suffers from Alter PTSD and leaves the Special Forces while she gets haunted by a spooky ghost that seems to be her father. Oh, and also she's going to kill the last pieces of Shao Kahn's army on Earthrealm. This ending sucks, nothing happens in it, and nothing is explained. Top of F tier because at least she didn't die.
Striker action figures flew off the shelves and into every young boy's hand. But when approached by Hollywood for the rights to his story, Striker put his foot down. Never would he allow himself to be portrayed by Johnny Cage.
Striker becomes famous for stopping Outworld's invasion of Earthrealm, and he basically becomes the coolest guy ever. Everybody loves Striker, but he won't sign a movie deal for his story because he hates Johnny Cage and doesn't want to be portrayed by him. This ending is funny, and it's great, because Striker to me is a joke character, one that I personally can't really take seriously. Having his ending be cheesy, and the ending having a joke to it, makes this ending probably my favorite. Plus that drawing of Johnny Cage all sad is comedy gold. I am this ending's target demographic, and for that, it goes to the top of S tier.
Sub-Zero and Scorpion disappeared into legend, emerging from obscurity only to avenge the innocent. The forces of darkness will never stop this deadly alliance.
Sub-Zero and Scorpion combine together to be best friends and take out the Lin Kuei after Raiden fills them in on some truths. They destroy the Lin Kuei and now only come out to save people when innocents are in trouble. Having the 2 main ninjas of Mortal Kombat combine together to be friends is something that is constantly brought up as a plot point between the past 3 MK games, with them becoming friends, fighting together, and then becoming brothers in the new timeline. Although Scorpion in that timeline is actually the second Sub-Zero, and Sub-Zero is the original Sub-Zero Bihan. I don't know if this is real favoritism or not, but this one goes in S tier right below Striker. Hey, no, this one's for you that skipped. Go back and watch the rest of the video so I can get my reasoning behind all these placements. If you don't, I mean, I won't do anything, but it's not cool to skip all of that. It took a lot of time to make. And if you don't, take a look at this tier list. Striker somehow brought home the gold, and I'm surprised that he did. Now he's not just some cheesy cop character in a world full of gods and monsters. He's the best, most famous cheesy cop character in the universe of Mortal Kombat. Wait a minute. No, he isn't. RoboCop in MK11. Sorry, Striker. Cabal is at the bottom, and even though he had an alright ending that showcases his path of ruin and where it's going to lead him, with him becoming more reliant on machines, I just don't like Cabal. I really enjoyed making this video. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to help this video and me out by leaving a like, mayhap subscribing, and telling me your opinions in the comments down below. Until next video, fellas.